All right, Lulz time. We were off last week. It seemed like it'd be kind of a quiet show today, maybe catch up on some loose ends. And the internet's going crazy today. All kinds of stuff to catch up on, including Rashee Rice's impending suspension. All the topics Brian and I are definitely experts on. I'm Pete with Bric. This is Lulz. Let's do it.
Does he think? I think he thinks this. He thinks this is a go. Vegas Dave thinks this is a go.
Hot naked girls doing yoga.
What?
Why don't you just win like a man?
Random.org. Type in 1 for yes, 2 for no. And let the DFS gods pick for you.
And I'm absolutely begging you not to dupe us. Please don't dupe us.
All right. Apologies in the chat. I saw that I accidentally scheduled the show for 1. We do always broadcast at 1:30. I am sorry for that. I'm sorry to have wasted your time for the past 30 minutes. Bric, how are you doing?
Good. Yeah. I've been sitting here for 30 minutes, patiently waiting. So it's not my fault.
Have you really?
No.
Okay. I was going to say, yeah, we're normally pretty good at communicating if we have a change to the schedule, but I fat fingered the StreamYard. This is what happens, guys. I schedule, 8 to 10 StreamYard shows a week, and sometimes I mess up. It's on me. I'm willing to hold the L here. But Bric, how are we doing on this Thursday after our week off?
Good. They got like a new little interface here at StreamYard, Pete. I would have used that as an excuse and taken no accountability myself personally, but you're a bigger man than I am.
Here's the problem. I think I already used that excuse at another show. StreamYard keeps changing things up on me, so I have to come up with new excuses.
Okay, fair enough.
I've used my parents were in town over the weekend. I've used that excuse. I'm running out of excuses. I just have to be better.
The dog ate my StreamYard. We did have like 2 shows back. StreamYard did completely crash on you, and
it did.
You were forced out of the stream.
Yes. I feel like there's just like a lot of random shit happening on the internet today. Have you seen the memes of the CEO from the Coldplay concert on the Jumbotron?
Yeah, caught red-handed.
Yeah. And I mean, it's one of those stories that would have been funny regardless, but then the fact that he's like the CEO of a company worth $1 billion makes it a lot more interesting.
And she's the head of HR.
Yeah.
For that company.
Yeah. I guess the company's called Astronomer. And I believe the concert I think it was in Boston, actually, at Foxborough.
I think so. Coldplay. I'm always amazed. I feel like there's so much of the economy is completely fake. I'm assuming it's like, where are these $1 billion companies coming from?
Right.
I don't think they're providing that much value to society, and they're all over the place. Apparently cheating on their spouses at Coldplay concerts.
It's so funny. I mean, one, it seemed pretty brazen in that it was clearly a work event. And I think people ID'd the other lady in the box as another like high ranking part of their C-suite or whatever. And like, she like clearly knows about it. And they're both just publicly having an affair within their work to where they were so comfortable in showing PDA in public. But then the second it's on the Jumbotron, it's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. I think there's a little chicken and egg thing going on there, Pete, because if you're the owner of said $1 billion company and you schedule the employee outings, aren't you going to schedule more of them that you could take your mistress to these events for the work outing?
Yes, for sure. For sure. I was thinking about that too here. In case people miss this, I can pull it up here real quickly on screen. That you got to see look at these two. All right, you got to see it from the top here. So little lovey-dovey, and then she turns and he just like hits the floor.
Yeah, and you're talking about this woman to the left who's clearly another employee, and she's like busted. Actually, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I assume they probably had like 10 or 15 people from their company. And the whole thing about it is that's so funny, right? Is if they didn't flinch and they just waved, it probably never gets back to anyone.
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, how else? Maybe it would have to be like very specific. Someone else was there that knew them and like saw it and then said something. But even then, like if you just don't move here, this isn't on the internet. You hitting the deck was the worst thing you ever did in your entire life.
He could have ducked his head down like this, and it probably would have been fine.
Hey, Steven, you are too nice. This is a far too charitable reading. They are probably just good friends. Let's go to hold this. Let's see. Friends do not hold each other like that, Steven. That is not a friendship hold.
She's pretty jacked, huh? Like a
Yeah. There's like a freeze frame right when they realize here, as you see their eyes, they're like, "Oh, I'm on the jumbotron. Oh shit, what does that mean?" Right
Do you
there.
know?
Right? I think that moment right there.
Oh yeah, there you got it. Look at that look on his face right there. He's like, I'm fucked.
Wow. Yeah, it is hilarious that it's at a Coldplay concert. It's just like
He doesn't.
they sold out 2 nights, I think, at Foxborough. I'm like, how is Coldplay doing that in 2025?
These like some of the comments. He's paid her rent many times. She's an HR, the head of HR at a $1 billion company. She does not need her rent paid, and she's married. I guarantee her and her husband are probably making $1 million a year combined.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's probably making like 300,000 a year, plus has stock options, all kinds of stuff there.
The guy, this other guy says, having a relationship with an ugly HR chick. It's because you know how people immediately ask Grok what they think in a lot of the replies, right? And then Grok responds, and since the last update, it'll actually respond. And somebody said something like that, and Grok goes, "No, listen, it's because of convenience." And I'm, because it's the closest person you're working with all the time,
right?
Like, of course, the $1 billion guy could theoretically get a more attractive girl, but it's not as convenient. I'm like, that's probably dead on right, Grok. That's exactly why these two are probably dating.
Yeah, I mean, man, it is interesting to think about like how comfortable they were in this moment. Wahiev to really how long it had been going on for them to be this comfortable with it. You feel bad for their families, but man, they got what they deserve.
Don't feel bad for these two, obviously.
No, I feel bad for the wife who's like husband has to be viral fodder on Twitter today.
Yeah, well, and her husband, I would feel the worst for sure. Like,
yeah,
I saw another meme. It's like that guy, that guy. That guy, it's like that like the white gray haired guy with like that weird smile, and he's looking at the computer, then turns that meme. It's like, oh, the wife said she's sleeping in after the Coldplay work event last night. I guess I get to surf the internet. It's like, oh, that poor guy.
Do you think these guys all do you think they rolled into the office this morning, or they maybe sat this one out?
Oh, when did it blew up this morning? They probably went to work. They might have went to work, although they're in Boston. Yeah, they probably definitely did, right?
I imagine it was a little hard to focus for them today. Man,
yeah, I feel so bad for her husband. Oh my god.
Yeah. So there you go. That was going viral today. We had the Rashee Rice stuff broke just about an hour ago. And this was another thing that kind of like blindsided everybody, at least in the fantasy community. That here's the report. I'll throw it up here on screen. Rashee Rice, ESPN sources, a Dallas County judge just sentenced Rashee Rice to 5 years probation and 30 days of jail time that can be served during those 5 years, stemming from his role in a multi-car crash in Dallas during the 2024 offseason. Now that the judge has ruled, the NFL can expedite its disciplinary process, and Rice is likely to receive a multi-game suspension. Any takes on this, Brian?
I mean, so it sounds like from what Twitter's reaction that this was really bad, but like my first reading was like, oh, so he's not really getting punished that much by the government.
Right. I mean, yeah, like relative to what he did, you would have thought it would have been way worse. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, unless probation means he can't leave Kansas City or wherever he lives.
Right. Yeah, 30 days of jail time. And it's funny not funny what happened to him and that, but funny just like the fantasy community processing it. Because I don't know, are you familiar with this one lawyer guy, Drew Davenport, who's like become the fantasy football lawyer? And people kind of default to him on anything legal at this point. But he did not see this outcome coming. He had been very firm that, Rashee Rice wouldn't be suspended this year. And so he was like having to take an L on Twitter, and all of the fantasy community is just like scapegoating this one dude who had like positioned himself as the fantasy football lawyer who got this situation wrong, which is just like classic best ball.
So he thought Rashee Rice would get 0
Yes.
games.
Yes.
And now he's thinking 2 to 4.
Yeah. He says the fact that no media was aware of a case and no case number showed up on the website points to one of those outcomes I didn't see coming. However, the fact that if he complies, his case gets dismissed says this is diversion. I just don't know if I can trust Schefter's language to be precise, but that's what it says to me.
Whatever. Maybe he deserves the criticism. I just kind of I was just been thinking about this past couple of weeks with like just podcasters in general, how they're clearly not gamblers because the way they make predictions is black and white. Usually, it's not. And like in our world, it's never you go like, there's a 10% chance or 50-50. Because if someone says something crazy, you go, okay, well, let's bet on it. Like you think it's 100%, let's give me those odds. And then they back down. And I think it stops podcasters from like making predictions a lot of the time because they don't realize that you can make a claim and go like, I think this is a low probability event, but I would bet it over a reasonable line. Like that, their brains just don't go there. They go like, the world's flat for, it's like, are you sure about that? Maybe, you don't want to say like there's a 1% chance or.
Well, and just the way people want to appeal to authority and like put, as opposed to using his take or his opinion as like a data point in your own decision making, as opposed to just implicitly trusting him, even though it's the same thing with Twitter doctors, right? It's like they're not there seeing the actual x-rays, doing the rehab, hearing what the player is saying. They're having to do guesswork from a distance. And yes, they have some domain expertise, so maybe they can make solid educated guesses, but they don't know for real. But yet then we want to use them as like the pillars of truth and then blame them when they get it wrong or their timeline isn't wrong. It's just like there's just no accountability for this stuff.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It's strange. I mean, it's also kind of built into like the fantasy space with takes, like freezing cold takes and fantasy receipts and all those Twitter accounts that if you put something out there, like you're going to be held accountable eventually. Another pertinent one that's just exactly like this, Pete, is the tax experts. And the gambling tax experts are making the rounds now because of the BBB. So they're like, I don't know. There was like 3 of them I saw on 3 different podcasts. I tried to listen to all 3 of them, and they're very like reasonable though. Like they're not very much not in the tick game. So I don't think they did anything where it would be like this, where they would just be completely wrong. They had a lot of caveats and stuff, and like, but that's exactly the same thing as like, I don't know if you should like plan your 2026 based off of an internet accountant their opinion just yet. Let's wait a little bit.
Right. And that's the whole thing too. It's like, we still have 5 months until this is even relevant, which I get that people don't like ambiguity, especially if you're making a livelihood from this, and like not knowing, like if I get that, but yeah, it seems that you see those people come out of the woodwork. I did think it was funny because right after this, the other big kind of suspension case in the NFL right now is Jordan Addison. Mm-hmm. And he says, breaking, Jordan Addison has pled guilty to a wet reckless, which I'll have to define more for you later. But I love this next sentence. I got my confidence back quickly on this one as I nailed it exactly. I never thought he'd go to jury and the case would be worked out. That still, it could trigger the 3 games, but mitigation may see it go to 2. I'll have more after court, but I just love that he's like, I got my mojo back, got the Addison thing right after the Rashee Rice whip.
God, that sounds like a euphemism for sure. A wet reckless.
Yes.
I don't know what it is, Pete, but usually got papers, things like that.
Wet reckless sounds like something I shouldn't Google, but
yeah, especially live. Okay.
It's a colloquial term for a reckless driving charge that is reduced from a DUI charge, typically through a plea bargain. It's called wet because it's alcohol related, even though the formal charge is reckless driving. So it's a casual slang term being thrown around here. Young and restless, wet and reckless. There you go. So yes, so there you go. Jordan Addison and Rashee Rice going to be dropping in drafts.
So the Rashee Rice thing wasn't that 2 to 4 games was unexpected. It was expected next year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he was predicting it. My advice was that he wouldn't get suspended this year, was mainly based on my belief. Yeah. So yeah, thought it was going to come next year. And that's why, and the reason it's a big deal in fantasy is he's been like an ADP riser. Like he had shot up from like the 4th round once, like, comments like this put everybody at ease. Hey, he's not going to get suspended. Then he was going in the 2nd round. Like I saw in some of my best ball breakfast streams, he went like 15 overall, 16 overall. Like people had zero concerns. And so that's why they're a little pissed today.
What let's assume 4 games. What is the proper ADP for that?
Yeah. Best ball mania. I mean,
is that like 4th round?
I think he should probably slip to the 4th round if you're going to miss 4 games. Yeah. Fourth round's pretty wide open there, but yeah, like all those guys, like, are you going to take, a 4th of the season from Rashee Rice? Or are you just going to take Mike Evans or Devontae Adams and these guys who are good year after year?
I would love to see a study on that. I don't know if you've ever seen one, Pete, but I've always been like I think it's like a little too risky. All these question marks on, the injury concern, suspension, stuff like that. Like if a guy's not playing for a decent amount of weeks, like in fantasy football, even in home leagues and stuff, I always just like, I'll just let someone else take the risk. Like, yeah, I know. We all know, like, he could get lucky, he comes back early or something, and he dominates. But, like, I'd rather just have the guaranteed guy who's going to play.
Yeah, I guess the only difference is I definitely feel that way when it comes to injuries, just because it's like, okay, you're not going to start him the first week back, and then you're going to need to see him get caught up to speed and ramped up, and then 4 to 6 week timeline could be 6 to 8 weeks. I guess it's a little different when it's suspension, like assuming they're working out with the team and then can just like hit the ground running with no actual limitations. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what was happening with Quinshon Judkins, the Browns rookie running back. Yeah. He's fallen like 25 picks in ADP.
Oh, that's it.
He got charged with battery. I think he will continue to drop.
Yeah.
It's kind of slow on Underdog.
Yeah. Well, and who knows what the suspensions are going to, does anyone really know what the suspensions will be? Because remember, like back in the day, you'd get a year for smoking pot, but like 4 games for beating your wife, like,
yeah.
So like, not that that's right or anything, but like, it is what it is. But now it seems like obviously pot would be nothing or very small, especially in a legal state. And maybe Goodell's changed his tune on this, and Judkins is going to be out for 6 games. I don't know.
Yeah, the thing that it's like, even with the Addison case, even the Rashee Rice stuff, like everyone, the can constantly gets kicked down the road. Like this Jordan Addison stuff was happening last summer. He was like going in the 10th round because people were worried about the suspension, and then it got delayed to this year. So it's like, even with the Judkins stuff, I mean, stuff can always happen, right? Like the NFL can always kind of, make, quicker decisions than they otherwise would. But like the MO from the NFL is wait for the wheels of justice to actually, turn and make their opinion. And then they'll come in and say, all right, this is what we're doing. And so that stuff always takes forever. So I would like not be surprised if like the Judkins stuff is a nothing burger for this season. That said, he's a rookie that still has to prove himself. It wasn't like he was a 1st round pick.
Yeah.
And that increases more ambiguity and widens the range of outcomes for, I think, his performance in year 1.
Definitely different than the guaranteed 4-game suspension or coming off an injury. Like you could get lucky there and just get nothing,
Yeah.
no suspension, and you save there. Like the Rice one is you hope he just comes in, dominates, and you have a top 5 wide receiver that you got in the 5th round or something, or 4th
Yeah.
round, or 3rd round if you're going early.
Yeah.
Yeah. So completely different gamble. It's pretty ridiculous that this is actually part of the game, though, but it is.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny how like year after year, we have these different obviously injuries, we have fantasy football lawyers. What was the other one we had? There was another genre that was needed for that comes up with some of this stuff, but it's just we now have to outsource to all these various experts because we're all trying to figure out if we're slightly over or under drafting a player.
I mean, you got the gambling guys now. You got Beasley. We had Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
So is it impossible 1 to 2 guys get suspended for gambling in football this year? Definitely, it's definitely possible.
Yeah. Imwald, is this a basketball show? Yes, this is ADP chasing. They had technical difficulties this week, so Brian and I are going to cover all of the latest rises and fallers.
We're under on Judkins. He should go a little further below. We're going Rashee Rice around 4.
Exactly. Brian, have you drafted any basketball teams this
I think
summer?
I did. I've only done 1 draft, which sounds like was a very smart move.
Wow. Yeah, because you knew all this legal stuff was going to flip the draft board on its head.
This is too much risk.
Incredible. What else have you guys been? I know you guys had U.S. Open this week. Was that getting that all squared away with the Run the Sims?
PGA. Yeah, we're working with Shady Advice on a new product that should be out next week. That's what we're working on right now. But we have to pivot to NFL like real soon because NFL is really all that matters, honestly.
Yeah. I did DFS After Dark with Shady on Saturday. Had a fun show with him, and he mentioned that he was working on that with you guys. And is that going to be for all sports, or is that specific for football, what he's working on?
It's going to be for all sports as long as we can figure out how to get it done in the back end.
Mm-hmm. And that's still under development right now?
Yeah. Well, golf should be good, hopefully, like next weekish.
Yeah. That's nice. Yeah. Golf, so what else? So are you guys, is it a lot of behind the scenes stuff right now with football? Like what's on your guys' big like roadmap that has to get done?
Well, yeah, we're trying to do the Dan's trying to build. We just got like a huge database. We put together play-by-play data, so Dan could train it with like a machine learning model.
Yeah,
to redo the play-by-play portion of Run the Sims code.
Mm-hmm.
The contest sim stuff we're going to do exactly like we do for every sport, so that will be the same format. Well, but we have to redo that as well. But that we already know exactly what we're doing. The redoing a play-by-play model with this kind of modern, coding is a little bit of a gamble because after we do it and then we back test it a bunch and it's like, if it's like not that good or about the same as it would a kind of typical old schooler play-by-play model, like then we just wasted a lot of money and time. So it's a little bit of a gamble, but I don't know. It was a cool idea. So we're just going to try something cool.
Is the idea that like most of the changes are all on the back end, and then for people who have been Run the Sim subs, that the like front end user experience is very similar?
Yeah, exactly. So the front end should still be the same, basically. Yeah, it's just all back end because like most play by play is like Mahomes throws, okay, or like you could roll, is it a run or a pass, and it's based off of the tendencies of the team. It's based off of all these other variables, the score of the game, the spread, the line and stuff like that. And then, okay, it's a pass. Okay, he throws to who? Oh, Rashee Rice, if he's not suspended. Okay, how far did he catch it? Did he drop it? Was it interception? Did he get sacked? Okay, he catches it. How far did he go? Kind of an iterative process of just doing that over and over again.
Are you are you going to be able to like one? Because I believe last year on the Run the Sims, like when you were doing the Sims, there was like three default sizes for like small field, midfield, and large field. Or are you guys going to be able to have like tournament specific stuff this year, or do you guys
Um,
like those buckets?
maybe I don't think we don't. So we only would do that if it actually mattered. The
Yeah.
difference, the difference from what we've seen in our research is like if you have a tournament that's 67,000 people and we run it for 50,000 people, there's no difference. It's basically the same thing. If you have
Okay.
100 man and you run it for 175, it's basically the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So it's pointless. It's really just more complicated,
Gotcha.
and we're trying to simplify, not make it more complicated. If that
Yeah.
becomes like a demand, I suppose, but we don't see it. It's way more important that you have like this, um, uh, the combo connect, like the combo analysis from a multi-field, multi-contest sim. So like it's iterating between, okay, if Scotty Scheffler's owned at 40% and Fleetwood's owned 27% in this one, and then he's 35 and 22, and then all these different variations of what the field could reasonably look like based off of your assumptions.
Hmm.
It's way more important to get that part right than
Yeah.
55,000 versus 47,000 or something like that. It doesn't matter that much.
Okay. Yeah, well, yeah, because it's funny too because it must be. I think even having like an FAQ for that would be good too, just because I think it makes people feel better if it's like, oh, I play the red zone and the red zone now I can run sims for the red zone contest, or I play the spy.
Mm,
Because then sometimes I think people get in their head of like, I'm playing a 5,000 person contest and this says it's for 15,000 or whatever.
yeah,
Whatever it is, or not knowing like, hey, I'm in the middle. Should I go to the smaller one or the bigger one that most accurately represents the field?
yeah. I mean, I have to ask Dan. I'm not sure it would be that big of a change if he just put a box in there and you could type it in.
Yeah,
17,326, if that's what you really want. It wouldn't. I I don't I don't think that it would matter so much. Maybe we could do that. But there's basically three pieces that matter. It's your guesses, the distributions of what those
mhm,
guesses look like, and then what you're and then how are you evaluating all these things. And then I suppose there's a fourth piece if you want it, which is what Shady does so well, which is portfolio management.
yep,
And so getting those things right is so much more important than 17,000 versus 12,000 man field. Like way more important. But doesn't mean we should do that. We should definitely make our FAQs and stuff more explanatory. I can tell based on the comments of people who've used the product. They don't know like what does this mean.
yeah. Yeah, well, that's. I think people are going to be excited once they see all the work you guys have done under the hood. What do you think is going to be the most like noticeable difference between before and after you guys took it over?
It's all the back end stuff. All the back end stuff. So the outputs will be completely different. So like the lineups you will enter will be dramatically different. Um,
Hmm.
and Justin did a really good job building the business out, and it's got all the nuts and bolts that makes our lives a lot easier, and it kind of runs itself and stuff. And we're not good at that. What we talk about is the theory and how to do all those four pieces that we just talked about. So like that's all we're really going to be doing is
Yeah,
changing how all the background stuff works to the way we all want it,
yeah,
and then it should look fairly similar. Like the buttons might have different names and stuff like that.
yeah,
I want to add some stuff where it's a little more easily customizable. So like if you use ETRs numbers, you could use them more easily with Run the Sim stuff because I found that difficult when Justin was running it and I was using Run the Sims. I was like, oh, how do I get their adjustments in here? I have to go hand by hand, and it's kind of tough.
Right, because that's kind of it's both the blessing and the curse of how granular the Run the Sim stuff gets with like tweaking market share
Mhm.
numbers. Because most sites, like I can't even think of any other site that displays that hyper granular data for how they're arriving at their projection.
Yes, and I think that's cool though, don't you think that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so like, yeah, that's the plan, is to leave that, and those will be inputs into the new play-by-play model that Dan's building out. So
I think
that's kind of the plan, yeah.
I'm thinking back to when I
Mhm.
was using it, and here's to give you more work or an idea of something. Like I think it was almost like you tweak, say you're tweaking market share or like projected touchdown rate, whatever it was. But it was kind of like wholesale, like you were doing it, and there was like a refresh button that like refreshed everything. But sometimes you would like maybe want to keep one tweak, but then change others, like almost like where you could lock individual things and then refresh everything that wasn't
Mm.
locked. I feel like that would have been a way that would have made me even want to play with it more.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, that makes sense, because when you screw something up and click the refresh button, it
Then
gets rid of all
everything,
of it. Yeah.
yeah, and because it's like maybe you're like stress testing certain ideas, and you're like, okay, this is an angle I want to play this guy higher, but then I want to mess with different iterations of
Mhm.
that. So I could see like locking that and having other stuff, but yeah, that was the most valuable thing that I always loved about that with Run the Sims. It wasn't because I thought I knew better than the projection, but just seeing like there were some instances where you could like double a guy's projection, or not projection, but like market share, but saying like, I think he's going to get all the work. And then he still wouldn't show up in the Sims that much. And it
Mm.
was like, holy cow, like this shows how overvalued he is. Even if you really boost him up to like a really good game, it's still not showing as something that makes sense. And that was like cool to me. It's like you run all these different variations. It's like, it doesn't matter how I slice this. This isn't a good play.
Yeah, that's and that is we talk about that in the PGA show quite a bit. Sometimes there'll be like, you could change a guy will show up in like 40% of your lineups, but if you change him 1 point in either direction, well, I guess in this case it would be a negative direction.
Yeah.
Like he's like in like 5% of the lineups. But in
Yeah.
sometimes, like with Scotty Scheffler, sometimes you could change him 5-6 points and he's still showing up in everything. And he's
Yeah.
just, because it's just so clearly a good play. You really have to have a strong I know better take to get him out of there. And that's one of the many reasons why Sims are so useful, is you could quantify like your guesses more easily. Yeah.
Yep.
Ownership, same thing. So like, so you think Burrow's actually going to be 16% owned in the highest QB this week? What does that matter? Well, change it, run it, and see if it matters.
Yep. Yeah. What have the subs been like in the golf stuff?
Not really.
At least that was a candid answer.
We could, like, I think once we get all the bells and whistles in there, I think more people will like it. It's just slow to build all this stuff out.
Yeah.
But I I think I underestimated how much people like projections the most. Still, even. And so we get our projections from Drew Redachik on Twitter. He does fantasygolfbag.com. And I think it's because it's not specifically from Utah or something like that. It's not his personal projections, or we didn't build out a proprietary model.
Yeah.
That people could just click one button. I think a lot of people just want that.
Yeah.
They want those projections. Yeah. But like, we're not gonna. So I tried to get like Data Golf to let us get their API, and we pay them however. I've tried over the months, and they're not into it. And they have real play-by-play now, or whatever they call it for theirs, with distributions and stuff. So it'd be perfect for our product.
Yeah.
And they're got a good reputation. But like, we can't. I don't. That's a lot of work. We're not just gonna. We could make projections tomorrow, but like if we were gonna do it, we wanted to do the best, in the industry or something like that. And that's a lot of work. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
At least not for a whole while.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, I mean, the amount of like money and resources you have to put into it to have the best of the best. Because like it probably wouldn't be that hard for you to make good projections. It would be really hard and expensive to make great projections.
Right.
That is
And
just like, is that worth it?
and you got to keep them up to date.
Yeah.
And since now, when you're doing stuff privately, like you get the data however you get it. You could scrape some sites that maybe don't want to be scraped, and plus they don't care because you're only scraping it a little bit, right? You're just for your private stuff. But
Yeah.
if you're a company, you also then have to pay for all the. At least this is the way we're going to do it. You have to pay for all the proper licensing and stuff like that, and it's not cheap. So like the I looked into it, the shot tracker data for PGA is like 20 grand a year. And
Okay.
that's what we would want. That's what you need to make a great model, right? So how many subs is that? Just to pay for the
Just to
shot
cover
tracker
that
data,
cost.
not even counting the work we have to put in and the developer time and stuff like that. And PGA is cool and it's year round, and there is a lot of people who play it. There's a lot of casual people who play PGA who aren't going to want to pay for high quality sim and stuff too. So it's not financially worth it. Maybe if we
Yeah.
were much bigger, it would make
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wonder what the ETR guys did when Rufus left. Like what angle they took, but I mean, there's a lot more incentive after. I'm assuming after you have a big subscriber base from Rufus being the guy there, just like
Yeah.
we got to put a lot of money and time and effort into this, which we don't have.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, yeah, and they learn a lot. I mean, I know, like as an example, like after Josh Hermsmeyer used to have his air yards by low model at ETR, but then like after he left, Leone was able to just develop his own, his by Leone model and figure out his own kind of way to do that. So I wonder if you just learn through the process of doing it and then can kind of create the framework for your projections. And I wonder how much of behind the scenes they learned from Rufus's process, or how much he kept that, even a black box behind the scenes to them.
I bet he kept 99.9% of black box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a API feed from his personal computer to them or something like that. Just showing projections.
Yeah.
What do I know? I'm guessing.
I was listening to their most recent Bet the Process, and he was talking about overhauling his golf model and that his data had gotten like pretty messy. And he was like describing it as this thing where there's certain variables that he wants to call for certain things, for certain golfers or certain events, but it had like sprawled and gotten away from him. And then he was trying to like overhaul it before this next tournament to make it more streamlined.
You see Yuda's burners in chat here.
This Ash Own.
Yeah.
My brain works like a huge algorithm. Maybe I can help out. The Sims, the algo is in your head.
Brain.
Yep. And then Bullock says reports coming out about Trump having a cardiovascular condition. Lulz, this is your Matic moment.
Okay, I'm seeing an elephant trample a car. I don't see anything.
Yeah, Bullock. It hasn't reached my For You page yet. I at this point, I work under the assumption that he's just invincible. Like, I mean, it's just kind of like a cockroach thing where there could be a nuclear winter, and I still just imagine Trump kind of like popping his hand out from the rubble.
Yeah, I could see it.
What do you think is like the overall sentiment, like to get back to DFS, like heading into the season? Like, it's always hard for me to tell how much am I in like the best ball bubble versus how much of it is that just like consuming all conversation right now. It's like, I always feel like salary cap DFS is always in an interesting spot, especially as August rolls around.
Yeah, I was wondering with all this new tax stuff if DFS would get a perverse boost from people like, maybe I shouldn't try to play poker this year, stuff like something like that. Do I want a sports bet if they're gonna serve me this this like new tax form or something at the end of the year. Um, but I don't know. DFS is, I would say, pretty similar to where it was 6 months ago. I
Yeah.
don't really see a change. Do you think best ball this year versus last year is about the same, more or less?
No, I think best ball has grown big
Okay.
time this year. Yeah. And the way, I mean, both the amount of contests that are filling, but also like we've experienced it, right? Like the amount of conversation, the amount of outrage over certain things. Like we know the ETR product brought in an entirely new wave of people there. I just see it anecdotally. Like there's all these accounts, all these people who have these like loud voices and strong takes that I don't ever remember seeing last year. And I feel like we used to argue about like week 16 versus week 17 EV. Like that
Mhm.
was the argument last year. And now we're like yelling about far, far dumber shit in a way that illustrates to me the space has gotten a lot bigger
Oh,
because the conversations have gotten a lot dumber.
okay. I can follow that logic. There
Yeah.
also could be like that there's no good like sharp takes anymore and everything's been
That we exhausted them all.
like, okay, well, we all know week 17 matters a little bit. What do we do now? I guess I could make fun of
I
this
think
guy.
you're, yeah, no, I think you're right. I do think for the traditional contests, a lot of that stuff has maybe like plateaued. That said, like that's why I had a lot of fun making the eliminator strategy video because that's like digging into an entirely, excuse me, new format that hasn't been, kind of picked over by everybody and had everybody weigh in. There's not been all this data on it. And so that was like what felt fun and fresh to me is like Underdog now has all of these different tournaments that require different strategies and they're not as well publicized. And that's kind of a
Hmm.
place you can go and find edges that maybe aren't there in just the traditional contests.
Yeah, that's always just sharp to
Yeah.
go to the smaller, newer stuff and attack it there. What do you think about? I don't think we talked about this. The DraftKings data dump.
Yeah. I mean, I talked about it briefly with Shady on Saturday night, and we were just like, was that an accident? Like it just it seemed so insane to do what they did that it felt like it had to be an accident because there's no actual logical explanation for releasing that.
I like the transparency at least. Like, I mean, you probably should do it at the end of the season, but did they not have like a how did it get out there? I don't even know.
Well, Steve, the thing that falls flat to me on the transparency angle, they didn't release any of their historical data for their tournaments.
Hmm.
Like to me, it would have been like, hey, we're releasing everything. Here's our 2022 DK Millionaire, 2023. Knock yourselves out with the data. Oops, we accidentally included the 2025 current data, but it was exclusively the 2025 data, not the old stuff, which is also just so bizarre to me because one of the things, like everyone loves Leone's manifesto for the underdog stuff. Like even if it's descriptive and not predictive stuff, like I'm sure people would have loved to have analyzed old DK data as well.
Hmm.
So it just seems like if you're saying we're going to be transparent, like wouldn't you want to release all your old data, not to an ongoing contest? It just was very bizarre to me.
That's true. Did they release it though, like on a page and like it wasn't like leaked or
Yeah.
some rant? Yeah. So
That's
they
what Shady said
purposely
that
did
there,
it.
yeah, that there was like a blurb that said, like you said, for the sake of transparency or whatever.
Mhm.
I just found it highly ironic because like DraftKings had the OG DFS scandal of the ownership
Yeah.
data that an employee had that he was then able to leverage, playing over on FanDuel. It
Huh.
like that, isn't that the ultimate lesson of we can't release current ownership data because it compromises the integrity of the contest?
Sure. I wonder if there was something behind the scenes, like their lawyers were like, "Oh, we got this case pending." There's like, I don't know, they're and like, what if we just release the data? Like it's something to do with something. I don't know. I can't make the connection, obviously,
Yeah.
but maybe there was some more to the story behind the scenes, and it was maybe like a super not well thought out decision about something else.
Yeah. Is the data still available? Yeah, as far as I can tell,
Yeah, I
lots of
think so.
people have been playing with the data, and there's certainly, I assume, some actionable insights that you could take from it. I mean, in season, at Run the Sims, like one of the things we were using for the battle royale was the, projected combinatorial ownership.
Mm-hmm.
It's even way more important, obviously, on a weekly basis to know that stuff.
Yeah.
In a smaller draft format than the 18 rounds. And we could nitpick on how valuable combinatorial data actually is for helping you in a 17-week contest, but it's still it's more than nothing. It's something.
Yeah. I mean, the only nitpick is you would have to test the data like we were talking about for DFS and go, is this combination higher or lower? Because otherwise, but there's probably some heuristics you could use based on the past data where it's like anything over a 40% combo is just too high. It doesn't work out like historically. Like, and you could just go, okay, Higgins is Higgins still on the Bengals? Higgins and Burrows is 45% owned. That might be just you fade it. I think the early rounds, I think those seem pretty clear fades to me. Like I don't know, I was looking at it a while ago, but like Brock Bowers was like getting paired up with non-teammates in the early rounds a lot. He must have just fit for some reason at that time. I don't know. I haven't looked at it, but let's just say that's true.
Yeah.
Just for the proof. Like if you're getting like 25% combos out of Barkley and Bowers, I'm just totally I haven't done the draft in a while. So throwing, like, I think that's clearly probably a good place to go. Like, oh, I just took Barkley. Let's not take Bowers.
Yeah.
It's at least a tiebreaker. Like if you're just as fine with three guys in that spot, why would you take the highest combo of a non-correlated, assuming there's no week 17 or anything like that, correlations and stuff?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess in my thing is, and I don't know how full the DraftKings Millie tournament is right now. I assume it's at a similar clip. So like Best Ball Mania is at 38%. My thought with that is just like, we've already even seen like the round 2 ADPs like move a good bit. Rashee Rice slid up, Tyreek Hill slid up. Brock Bowers actually dropped on Underdog, where it's like if it's almost like a moving target, right? Like you're trying to avoid a popular combo now, but it like might not even be popular for then the next 60% of the contest, where I think like that framework is probably best used in the final weeks of the tournament when it's like 90% is filled and you're more confident that those combinatorial pairings have been existing for the duration of the tournament.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, it's the name of the game though is we're like predicting and guessing. And that's a pretty good indicator, I would say. Like if guys who are probably going to be high top 3 round picks unless something crazy happens by the end of the year, and they're 30% being paired together as of July 17th. Yeah, it might not be 30, but you have a lot of evidence that it's probably going to be higher than it otherwise should be on average.
Yeah.
So, like, why not use it? I mean,
for sure.
We're guessing anyways, at least definitely in tiebreaker situations.
Well, here's the thing. I would use it if I were playing on DraftKings because it's not guessing. You have the data. On Underdog, it's like a soft science of like, I think I see this a lot of the times where these ADPs line up, but like I can't hold all of those in my head. I don't do enough drafts to like know for sure. But if you had the actual data, like, I do think that would be something I would want to be reviewing on that.
Definitely. But like, because like you were kind of insinuating that even with that actual DraftKings data, you don't really know what's going to happen from July till September. So, which is true. I mean, like as a guy changes, like maybe in people, now that this information is out there, maybe so those combos will be avoided a little bit more and it'll go down artificially, but it's still good actionable info.
Yeah. And I guess it would be like if you were avoiding something and then that player, like say that Brock Bowers example, and let's say he got pushed up, it got popular for some reason, and then was going at like the 1-2 turn. And then like those combos that you were avoiding actually aren't available for the rest of the field for 70% of the contest. And then you might say like, would I actually want to be, overweight whatever the round 1 player is with Brock Bowers, knowing that people now can't get that exact same combo?
Yes. This Brock Bowers thing, it makes me think, I wonder, I was just totally kind of more or less using a fake example there, but now that you guys are both, I see in chat, and you were saying he's dropped, I wonder if that was part of it, because let's say it was fairly popular 1-2 combo, and then he
Mhm.
drops. Now you might have more Barkley Bowers combos as a player drops like that. If he was already getting comboed up a decent amount when he was in the second round, as he drops
Mhm.
to 3 or 4, I don't know what he's going now. There's
Mhm.
more opportunities for him to be paired with those earlier guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if that logic holds, but
Yeah. But I mean, getting back, I just to, it's a weird thing with the way it kind of illustrates of all of why I think people like best ball is because even when you have these edges, there's still so much variance and so many variables where like, even if you know the combo data of the whole thing, like in the same way I could tell someone the box score for week 17, like the gods came down to me, and you
Mhm.
still would be a dog to even
Right.
get a team to the finals to
Yeah.
capitalize on that and win the tournament, like just the way these things are constructed. So it is like a micro edge. Like I don't
Yeah.
think you have to worry about the contest just because that is out there. I just think it's a wild move, just considering where we're at in the overall climate for contest integrity and all of this stuff. It's just like, you know, uh, it seems like you're opening yourself up to some sort of risk by doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, isn't basketball all micro edges?
Oh yeah.
I mean, anyways, right? So like, you're just trying to stack them, and hope the tax laws don't change in California,
Well,
changes their mind.
but you think through, like, put it on the flip side. Remember when we were kind of having the whole RTA conversation, and one of the things that was brought up is like one maybe elegant solution is the site itself incorporating these kind of tools, and that way it's a level playing field. Like everybody has access to this stuff. Everybody has
Mm.
access to the week 17 matchups. Like just make it, and then you can decide to use it or not. Like in this case, it's weird, right? It's not like DraftKings is displaying the combo ownership within it. It's like on a page, and like only the sickos are going to know to access it, how to
Yeah.
use it. It's actually, in a weird way, it's technically a level playing field, but like only a very small subset of users is actually going to know about it and know how to leverage it. So I don't even know if like the transparency thing is accomplishing the end goal of like a level playing field for all.
Yes, I mean, I totally see your point. I think transparency does kind of mean something slightly different than that. That's more
True.
fair play. Where
Yeah.
transparency, you're just saying, hey, if anyone wants to check to see if there's cheaters here, here's the data.
Mm.
I feel like that's kind of transparent. Or and if you want to eventually see if there's collusion, or if like your team is being counted properly and DraftKings isn't doing some shenanigans, here it is, transparency. But
Well,
yeah, clearly that data can be used in an unfair way.
and the other thing that happened from it, and this happens on Underdog too, if someone posts a screenshot of like multiple rare ADP fallers, and it's like, you were able to get Malik Neighbors and Jameer Gibbs on the same team. How is that happening? That happened with a couple of the DraftKings teams that people saw from the combo data. Like, how you can't draft this contest anymore because they got this 3-player combo. And it's like, yeah, those are 3 really good players that are hard to get together. But again, I could let you have that combo every start of the draft and you're still not winning
Right.
shit. Like that's just like how it goes.
I think that's backwards thinking too. Like, you, as a skilled player, you want DraftKings to increase the skill gap. So like, if releasing this data would increase the skill gap for you as a sharper player, and like you were just pointing out, a lot of donkeys are not going to go and download this data, much less know how to use it properly.
Mhm.
You should be encouraging DraftKings to do more of this stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good idea if they could point.
Well,
Good.
no, I think they probably were being encouraged by people like, hey, Underdogs released a lot of this data. It leads to a lot of research and content and conversation and strikes interest in
Mm-hmm.
drafting. They're like, okay, we'll do it. We're going to start with live contest data, like of all the stuff you could start with. It just seemed like a wild decision.
Do you want to do some combo guesses for the underdog ownership? It's our projections, but so it's not like DraftKings accurate. But
yeah,
who do you think the highest? It's a quarterback, wide receiver, obviously.
Okay.
What do we have projected as the highest?
So just both how I think it lines up ADP and because it's just like a nonstop conversation on best ball Twitter, I'm going to guess it's Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow.
It is not. Let's see what they
Ooh.
are. Nope.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe
They're like
cheaper
12.
one. Interesting. The 12th most. Let's see. The most popular one.
Isn't those guys are both? Well, no, Burrow's kind of draftable. Yeah, that's interesting.
My guess is it has to be a quarterback that's a little cheaper, just that it makes it easy to get.
Yeah.
I'll say my second guess is CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it. And then the next one is the same theme, but also the wide receiver is easier to draft.
Okay. Same theme.
Yeah.
I am going. Wow. Is it?
It's
So. Hang on. Don't tell me.
No hint.
Don't tell me. Because I'm thinking about ADP. I'm thinking about the elite quarterbacks. It's going to be like.
So it's not an elite quarterback.
Oh, it's not an elite. Okay.
Not elite wide receiver. That's what I was trying to get.
But the wide receiver is cheaper than the quarterback.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Then I don't know my clue. Okay. I will guess. I mean,
Do you want a hint?
Yeah, give me a hint.
It's your favorite team.
Who's my favorite team?
Yeah.
The New England Patriots?
You could have multiple favorite teams.
I don't know my own favorite team, so this is a bad clue.
Broncos.
Okay, Cortland Sutton and Bo Nix?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Cortland
that checks
Sutton.
out. Yep.
Okay. Is who is Barkley's number one
paired
player?
So I'm gonna just guess that it's not teammate related because
it's not teammate related. This is a perfect example. Yeah.
Well, my guess then it's going to be a player at the 2-3 turn who's lined up with him ADP wise. Most Barkley drafters, I'm going to guess, are going to be wanting to grab a wide receiver. Wow. I'm going to say it's T. Higgins.
Oh my God, you guys you need help. That is. It is T. Higgins. The what in chat guessed it too. Wow, that's crazy. 26%.
And see, Brian, that's actually a perfect example of one where I do think using the data on that. So T. Higgins, most people agree, there's like a pretty big tier break in the middle of the second round, and a lot of the wide receivers going from like the T range to even like the end of the third round, like you can shuffle those up. However, and so then to have that level of combinatorial ownership on like the most fragile of the beginning of a wide receiver tier group, like that strikes me as bad.
That's what 26%. I would just unless around T. Higgins, so you could also see it looks pretty obvious here. Barkley, Higgins, Sutton, Burrow would be a high 4 combo team.
Yeah. Yes. I think you're misunderstanding the conversation if you're taking this as a reason not to draft Saquon. It's not to draft Saquon. It's to mix up who you pair him with.
Right. Yeah.
This isn't saying anything about Barkley.
I think we've been clear, but maybe not. So T. Higgins specifically, this would say if you have all else being equal, you have 3 options at your pick, and Higgins is one of them, and you drafted Barkley, you might want to consider the other 2.
Yeah.
Seems perfectly.
Yeah, and this is what I mean by the middle third round wide receivers. We're talking guys like I guess Tyreek Hill has moved up, but Marvin Harrison, Devontae Adams, like these guys. Like look at Devontae Adams with Barkley. I'm going to guess it's really low. Can you even find it on that?
It's not even.
Yeah, because their ADPs are not correlated on that side of the board, and so it's. And yet, like, if anyone had utmost conviction that T. Higgins was going to outscore Devontae Adams this year, I'd say you're probably overconfident. And yet, the ownership gap, it looks like we're a pretty large spread there.
Yeah, that's a good one. Who's a top pick?
Jamar Chase. So he is up there. Chase and Burrow was 36%.
Yeah, I said he was. I think that was like 12th highest,
Okay.
something like that.
Wait, what was the ownership on the Dak Lamb one?
45.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That checks out to me. And one thing I've noticed in drafts, and I've talked about this before, people like say you have 5 wide receivers on your team, and then let's just as a thought experiment say all 5 quarterbacks were available at a pick to stack with each one of yours. The drafters love to stack up the wide receiver they spent the most on first. So all things being equal, so like CeeDee Lamb's a first round pick. And so drafters, even if they have other stack outs, other similar, like they could have George Kittle and like Brock Purdy's right there, and they will take Dak over Brock Purdy because they want the stack specifically with their first round player. So it makes sense to me why the first round picks have an outsized stack percentage, even though cheaper picks would theoretically be easier to stack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have to.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you have to.
And I've always rejected that because like my thought has been the round 1 players are the studs. Like CeeDee Lamb can score 30 points and Dak Prescott can have 18. Like these guys get so many targets. They're touchdown monsters. I want to stack my fringier players. Like I want the guys who I took in the 6th and 7th round to be stacked because they're the ones that need the help of the quarterback of the game environment to hit to really make an impact. But I always get pushback on that. Yeah.
The reward's greater.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reward and the payoff's greater if things fall your way, which is what you need in these lotteries.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was just looking at I'm the world's #1 Bears fan. Oops. Except I can't spell Caleb Williams.
Caleb Willis.
This seems kind of high to me. These Burton at 2023. That's not
dude.
bad.
Where's Loveland? No one's.
Right here.
There he is. Sorry, it got flipped on that one.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We should fix that. But
Yet again, it speaks to it, right? That they're ordered. I guess Burton goes ahead of Loveland, but Moore, Adunze Moore's the most expensive, then Rome, then Burton, then Loveland. So it makes sense. Again, the drafters, once you take that DJ Moore, it's like that person has starred Caleb Williams.
Kyler Murray, Nico, Brian Thomas, they're all isn't Thomas like 2nd round now? What is he?
Yeah, 2nd round. Yeah, early 2nd.
DJ. Well, Hunter Henry can't be that high.
No, Hunter Henry's like a whatever 13th.
This is what this is. This is just those dumb Patriot fans.
Well, do you know what it is? It's their wide receiver room is so bad. You have Stephon Diggs, and then you have this rookie, Kyle Williams, who was a 3rd round pick. But the one thing there's 2 things. Everyone loves Drake May, and then Hunter Henry's the only constant in the offense. He's like the only kind of stable thing what you're getting.
Okay. Now explain to me this one.
Brenton Strange. Yeah, the tight end with Trevor Lawrence. That's Brenton.
Is he like 16th round free pick or something?
Yeah, he goes like a little bit after Hunter Henry.
That's still I feel like that can't be plus EV. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting because with the tight ends, the Drake May one makes more sense to me because there's a lack of options. But with Lawrence, you're theoretically getting Brian Thomas or Hunter first, and then I guess people are tacking on Strange a lot.
They have to be tacking, and like if that's but like comes a point where people are just.
It's a funny joke.
So
yeah.
There's probably some truth to that. Wow, look at McConkey.
Yep, that's another one. It's the McConkey is like the CeeDee Lamb thing, just a little lighter. He's the 2nd round pick. Herbert goes a little after Dak. There's not a ton of other attractive stack options.
Okay.
All this data has made what encouraged me is I just like want to be more creative with like backdoor stacks instead of doing the like you take the wide receiver 1 and then grab the quarterback. It's like I want to grab the quarterback, get the wide receiver 2, get the tight end 1, more backdoor stacks because it's mentally, even for myself, it's like, it's so easy to star the quarterback for a player you've already drafted. It takes a lot more imagination to take the quarterback and then stack from there.
That's like advanced strategy, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I think the real strategy, the easy strategy to use this data, the DraftKings data, is what we've been saying is tiebreaker,
Yeah.
obvious tiebreakers. So tell me I'm crazy, but like if you're taking Higgins after Barkley, you're stupid. I don't think that makes any sense. If you take Chase, don't take Jacobs.
Yeah.
Like for now,
because there's no playoff correlation.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who's another top 5 pick?
Justin Jefferson. He's going to probably be paired with these similar.
How about Justin Jefferson?
Jefferson. Hey, relax.
That's pretty low for.
Yeah, and I think that's because there's two other, Hawkinson and Jordan Addison, and a lot of people and there's both Minnesota running backs, and a lot of drafters are competing for McCarthy, Minnesota drafters.
I don't know where
is the uncorrelated pairing, and it's like the very similar. It's the inverse of, it's like the Barkley thing, right? Or sorry, it's the inverse of the Barkley, where the Jefferson drafter wants to grab a running back in round 2, and Bucky's often the one that's there.
And I don't know where this number starts and ends, where you should just definitely fade it as opposed to like tiebreaker or you don't care. But 21% seems pretty close.
Yeah, 20 is like it was those ones over 30 that started to kind of really be interesting, like the Higgins one you showed.
Yeah, 26% or whatever. I mean, of course, unless you have like the strategies line out, it's like going to be easy to stack Burrow or whatever, and everything, and it's your favorite player. You have a strong take on him or something. Those are all different. But all else being equal, I don't even know if 20% is Taylor correlated with Jefferson for some reason. I don't think so.
No, it's the same. It's Bucky and Taylor are the two running backs at the back end of round 2 who line up with where the Jefferson one. I think this to me again is why like the ultimate have your cake and eat it too with all this stuff is scooping up ADP fallers early, because you get ostensibly the better player that shouldn't have slipped, and you get the unique pairing. So you don't run the risk of being too fancy and IK being the market. You get the unique pairing, and that's why like I personally like rounds 3, 4, 5. Like I'm just taking any fallers, but sometimes everyone is taking the best available player, and then it's going to be T Higgins lined up with Barkley, and that's the point where how I would say it is this: if you think there's a big tier break after T Higgins, and you think T Higgins is that much better than the next available player, then sure, take the best available player and run into a little ownership. I would have a hard time someone convincing me of that, specifically in the case of the T Higgins situation, like within the tiers. And it's like, okay, well then use those tiers to mix it up just a little bit, knowing those percentages.
Yeah. And that's good clarification. Like all else being equal. I said that multiple times.
Yeah.
And in your example, if it's someone who dropped, that is no longer all else being equal. And if Higgins is there and he's 10 picks, spots past ADP, gobble up that free EV for sure. But like if he's right where he should be and you have multiple options that you're fine with and nothing else matters, don't pair him with Barkley.
Yeah. Let's quickly, before I have to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
This is on the Draft Caddy via the in-game syndicate. Brian, you want to scroll up and show them or the exact link for this?
Yeah. Well, you can go to runthesims.com too here.
Okay. Yep. So if you go to runthesims.com, you go to the Draft Caddy.
It's also on Google Play Store.
Yes.
And was it Mozilla Store?
I'll see if this link in the chat works, but it's the Chrome extension. And then there is the Underdog Best Ball ownership tag or whatever.
Yeah. And here's the that link didn't work for some reason. Why didn't mine?
Yeah, and if you see me drafting on stream and you see the the week 17 matchups, I'm actually going to add in my ownership percentages here now as I reach the halfway point. I want to get those up on there. You can
Your
use the
exposures.
my sorry, not ownership. Yeah, the exposures.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, this is how you know you run long. I was messing around with some automation for my lights, and it thought Lulz is over by 240, and it turned my lights off.
Uh-oh.
There we go. We're back. But I do have to get rolling. You know who we have? Another legend of the Chicago fantasy space. One Mr. Evan Silva is on Ship Chasing today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yep. So the big dog himself. Anything else on your end, Brian, here before we get going?
Runthesims.com. Endgame Syndicate.
There you go. There you go. All right, guys. Appreciate you. I also am going to have After Dark tonight, doing it a little early because I'm going to be away most of the weekend. I have Dave, who's a underdog and dog bowl crusher, also does some stuff over at ETR. We're going to draft a big dog team. He wanted to draft a big dog team. So if you're looking to get a $500 draft filled, tonight is going to be your night. We'll probably be hopping in that, a little after 8 p.m. tonight if you guys want to come. And if you're YouTube members, you can watch us stream it. All right, guys, good luck. Stay safe out there. Don't go to Coldplay concerts and cheat on your spouse. We'll see you next time.